Hi, this is Baker Searles from Mechanical Simulation. This video will show you how to get up and running with the VehicleSim Dynamics Unreal plugin and give you a quick tour of the available interface. To start, you need the Epic Games launcher installed, along with the version of the engine you need to work with. Then you can search for VehicleSim Dynamics in the Unreal Marketplace and install the plugin to the appropriate engine version. Now you can open your project and activate the plugin. From the Edit menu in the Unreal Editor, open the Plugin Setting dialog. If it was installed properly, you should see the VehicleSim Dynamics plugin in the installed group with the subcategory of Physics. This project has only one external plugin installed, so go ahead and tick the Enabled box to continue. You'll then need to restart the editor. Once the plugin is active, you will have a Carson Pawn available in the class list that you can drag directly into the scene or use to compose other objects. A pawn is an Unreal concept for the physical representation of any object in the scene that can be placed under human or AI control. You'll notice that the Carson Pawn comes packaged with several components, including an internal and chase camera, as well as a body shape offset that will help you place representative shapes in the correct location. Our example project, available from the user section of carson.com, comes pre-configured with the VehicleSim Dynamics plugin. The project includes a proving ground to use for testing. The proving ground includes a split mew section, a small hill, a tunnel, and several bump sections. The Carson Demo Vehicle Pawn is used to demonstrate both a car and a truck. They have a number of provided basic example components. Blueprints are an Unreal Engine visual scripting system that allows for rapid prototyping and complex behavior without requiring deep programming knowledge. The project includes blueprints to generate road, tire, and engine noise, along with spawning trailers and tires on startup for the vehicle and animating them. That's all driven by model data retrieved through the Solver Blueprint interface. There are extra cameras with switching behavior triggered by the tab key. And of course, there is the vehicle body and interior. Let's take a closer look at the CarSim movement component, which is the class used to bind the motion of the pawn to the CarSim or TruckSim solver. The solver config file entry is used to specify an expanded parse file or sim file to load when the simulation begins. If this field is left empty, a stock D-Class sedan model is used. You can also develop a vehicle or procedure within the CarSim or TruckSim program and have it output a sim file that you can specify within the CarSim movement component. Once you have your VehicleSim pawn running, you'll want to bind controls to hardware you have available if you're not going to rely on the VehicleSim driver model. The example project shows how to attach keyboard and gamepad inputs to the vehicle. You can extend this to use any device or software component that can emit an input signal within your Unreal simulation environment. So that's how to get up and running. Let's walk through the minimal steps to a functional project. In the Libraries section of the Epic Launcher, I'm going to launch the editor of my latest installed version. This brings up a dialog to select or create a new project. I'm going to select the automotive category and just use the blank template. I'm going to omit starter content and keep ray tracing disabled. After the project is created, I'll enable the plugin as discussed earlier and do a quick restart. I'll search for the CarSim Vehicle Pawn in the Place Actors tab and drag one into the scene. With this pawn selected, the Details tab on the right will allow me to add components to the pawn. Let's import a shapefile to use as an approximate representation of the vehicle body. In this case, I exported the sedan body from the example project as an FBX file, which is a popular 3D shape format. In the content browser, hit the Import button and then find the exported shapefile. There are a lot of import options, but let's just accept the defaults and hit Import All. You should now see several new materials and a mesh file in the content browser. Simply drag the mesh titled D-Class Sedan LOD0 over to the body shape offset node that shows up in the Details pane when the CarSim pawn is selected. The floor object is way too small to drive on, so I'll select the floor in the world outliner and scale it along X and Y to something that gives us a bit more room. That leaves control mapping. Opening up the project settings in the Edit menu will allow us to open the input settings within the engine category. Let's set up three named inputs. Throttle and brake are pretty self-explanatory. Move right is an integrated Unreal pawn concept to describe lateral movement in local space. The VehicleSim Dynamics plugin will interpret this as steering input. If you were mapping these to buttons or keys on the keyboard, to steer left you'd simply change the scale for that button to be a negative scalar. I have a gamepad handy, and there is built-in support for it, so let's go ahead and map these controls to the gamepad. You can set up multiple inputs for a given axis mapping if desired. If you had plugins active for other control devices or modules, their signals would show up here ready to be mapped. One more thing, the internal camera for the Pawn is not in a great location. There's no cockpit with this placeholder geometry. So from the details pane, I'll select the camera and pull it back a bit. Now we can press the play button to demonstrate the integration. Note that you'll need to click in the render window to make sure input is captured by the application. You can hit escape to stop the run at any time. Check out Mechanical Simulation's YouTube channel for more videos about our integration with Unreal, or how to use our products. And please visit carson.com for detailed technical documentation. Thank you for watching.